I also want to observe the existing protocol and to say that many of you may not be aware, but the vision of the MacArthur Foundation is a just, peaceful, and burdened world. I confess that when I read the word burdened, I have to go to the dictionary to see what burdened means, but it means green world. Our work around the burdened nature of the world is reflected in the work that we do around climate change. That work at the moment primarily focuses on India and the United States. I think we all know, and I don't need to repeat, that climate change, and I know that when we talk about climate change, I think that many of us may not get a sense of what we're talking about. But if you talk to Nigerians, flooding, they know what flooding is. When you talk to Nigerians, failure of crops, they know what that means. When you talk to Nigerians about drought, they know what that means. So, I think that as we face climate change and one of the greatest threats to human survival, we know that sea levels are rising, and then that we all know our coastal towns and villages and others are submerging. Our dry seasons are hotter, wildfires are more intense and long-lasting, floods are destroying livelihoods, and droughts are consuming crops. I was looking at the signature page of one of our directors, and I thought she has a quotation which is worth reminding us. She says, "It blew my mind when someone said, 'Stop thinking about this year as the warmest for the last 100 years, but the coolest one for the next 100 years.'" I thought that was a very apt statement on her signature page. The MacArthur Foundation acknowledges that climate change really does not affect all of us equally. We know that the poor, disadvantaged communities are the ones that are more affected than the affluent communities in our society. We at the MacArthur Foundation, we have a very sense of urgency of the situation. We have worked with many partners in philanthropy and beyond to slow the acceleration of climate change. And I just want to share with you a few examples of what we are trying to do. One of them is, how do we create access to energy for marginalized communities to ensure that energy transition is real for most of them. We are working with other philanthropies in an initiative in the United States, which is called Invest in Our Future, which helps rural, low-income communities with access to $1 trillion in public and private investments towards a clean energy. Beyond grant making, we are also making our own statements. The foundation is on the path of disinvesting $8 billion from fossil fuels and encourage to see how many others can follow us in this regard. We have also allocated $500 million to impact investments, including climate-related investment in such funds as encourage solar finance, which is accelerating the adoption of rooftop solar in India. So our work to support climate change justice are evolving, and our commitment to a burdened world remains core to our mission. I want to thank Agora Policy under the leadership of Waziri for leading the pack on policy development and innovation in our country. And it is true, as Waziri said, for us, Agora Policy was a big bet. It was a difficult decision. When he came trying to convince me why Agora Policy is important about 1.5 years ago or 2 years, I was scratching my head. I said, Agora Policy. I said, look, NESG have been making so many recommendations to governments and have not seen much of impact. So why should we support Agora Policy? He said, well, but I read his book and I saw how, because of the research and policy work that he has done, how that has influenced his own work and why Native became what it became. And so we took the risk, we took the big bet, we invested, and I'm happy to say that it was a good risk. Thank you very much.